All right, welcome everyone. Thank you all for being here this evening. For those of you who might be watching later, we are going to be focusing on the neck and carrying tension in the neck and how to release the tension, how to find some movements that might make stiffness or tension or pain feel better in the neck. And so it's a pretty gentle class today. We will be doing a few things to work on core strength, but it'd be more about mobilizing through the neck, the upper back, shoulders, and releasing tension there. If you have yoga blocks, I'd like you to grab them. And if you don't, it's okay. We can get by without them. I'm going to be mostly using the blanket to pad my knees, and the strap would be only if you need it for the quad stretch. So I'm sorry, I misspoke. We do need the blanket or the towel. Sorry. We do need the blanket or towel for actually the first several poses and movements we're going to do. So not just for padding the knees. We're going to take our blanket or towel and we're rolling up. We're going to make a small roll, meaning not super thick. So usually I've got about a 2-inch or 2.5-inch diameter of the roll. I'm not rolling up my whole blanket. That's going to go under the back of my neck. So I'm lying down, face up, and I'm positioning that roll at the back of my neck. And if you're asking, Laura, how do I know if I have it the right size or the right position? This is how you know that you want the blanket roll to support the back of the neck. The back of the neck has a sort of forward curvature here. And so you want it big enough to support the neck, but not so big that it feels like it's shoving your neck forward or pushing the head forward or tipping the chin way back. So it's not a big roll underneath, and it's a subtle support. The back of the head is not on the roll, so it's actually sitting a little lower than the back of the neck because of where you have the support here. And we're going to start in some stillness at the very beginning. So if it feels good to close your eyes, you can. You don't need to see me at this point. And begin the practice, as we always do, by focusing on the breath. So beginning to feel the belly and chest expand as you inhale, contracting as you exhale. Breathing through the nose. We're starting to lengthen out the breath. We're slowing the breathing down. So often neck tension can be related to tension from stress in our lives. It can also be related to sort of mechanical positioning of the body or overuse of certain sets of muscles around the shoulders and the neck. In this position, we're relaxing or releasing tension in the muscles that run from the base of the skull to the bottom of the neck, right along parallel to the spine. And even some little ones that attach the base of the skull to the topmost vertebrae here. When those muscles hold tension, they can trigger a headache, usually up in sort of the temple, the side of the head area. So when I feel that coming on, this is one of my go-to positions for the headache pain relief. Take the next few breaths to set an intention for your practice. And if you have a tendency to hold tension around the neck or the shoulders, I would suggest the intention of letting go. Whether it's letting go of tension in the muscles, letting go of thoughts that might stress you so that you hold tension in your muscles. letting go. So we're going to begin to move here. I'm going to leave the roll under the back of my neck for the next couple of movements that I'm going to do with my lower body. And but if it's feeling uncomfortable to you, take it out and you can do the rest of it without it. We're doing a backward and forward pelvic tilt. So flattening the back on the exhale, lower back pressing into the floor, belly button towards spine, that tailbone tips up, and then move in the opposite direction. We press the tailbone into the floor and arch the low back away from the surface. Back and forth with this, we exhale, flatten the back, tailbone tipping up. Inhale, tailbone into the floor, arching the back. And take a few more of these movements here. If you still have that roll under the back of the neck, you'll notice as you arch the low back away from the floor, it tips the chin down towards the chest. As you flatten the low back, the chin tips away from the chest. And it's passive, right? We're not nodding our head. We're moving the lower part of the spine and it's pulling on the upper. And so it can feel, to me, sometimes this feels really good, especially that when I arch my low back, it gives me a little bit of a release through the occiput, that base of the skull. And sometimes I'll hold it in that position for that sort of extended release of the skull. Sometimes it just feels really good to kind of pull and release, pull and release. We'll bring the pelvis back into that neutral position here. Knees bent. We'll bring the arms out to the sides and we're gently rocking the knees side to side. So before we had the pelvis rocking forward and backward, now we have the pelvis rocking side to side. And maybe you feel some pull in your neck here too, maybe not. If it feels good, start to turn your head in the opposite direction of your legs. And if you still have that roll in there, it's going to limit how far you can turn your head. So don't worry, don't try to push it. We're just keeping it gentle. Next time the knees drop over to the left and the head's turned to the right, just pause here. And do a tiny little head nod. It's almost imperceptible. You're going to tip the chin towards the chest and then release it. We exhale, chin towards chest. Inhale, release. Do a few more. So we're just changing that angle here of that little head nod, but now we're using neck muscles to get the movement as opposed to the lower body. Bring it all back to center and then drop the knees over to the right. Head's turned gently towards the left. Tiny little head nod. Exhale, chin towards chest. Inhale, release it. Do a few. If this is triggering some pain or headache up through the side of the head to the temple, make the movement smaller or take that little head nod out altogether. And we'll bring it all back in through center. I'm going to take the roll out from underneath my neck here, back of the head resting on the floor. It might feel good just to gently turn that head, like just seeing how you can turn it side to side without having pain or too much intense stretching. We'll bring this back in through center. We're going to work our core here. And often I find in my physical therapy clients, when I do core work, their neck muscles start to tense up. And it's sort of a common thing that sometimes our neck muscles are kind of busybodies and they like to get in on the action and help out when they're really not, they really shouldn't be there. So we're going to do sort of the bottom half of dead bug. We're going to leave the arms out of it. So I'm going to bring both feet up, knees bent, shins parallel to the floor to start. Press your back ribs into the floor. This is going to engage those innermost abdominal muscles. And notice, did your neck muscles start to engage? Mine did. So I know this happens with me. So I'm going to try to get my neck muscles to stay out of it. You can either bring your arms overhead in this sort of diamond-shaped position, or for me, even better is hands behind the head, letting the head rest in that position. That really turns those neck muscles off for me. So keep the back ribs pressed down. Inhale, lower one foot, tapping it on the ground. Exhale, pull it back up. Other side. Inhale, tap the foot. Exhale, pull it back up. Alternating sides here. And we're going slow. Core work, really the slower you go, the more strength you build, and the more control. And when we're dealing with the core, it's really the control that we're working on here. So you could go even slower and get more challenge. Another way to get more challenge would be to stretch that leg out away from you. Notice if you added more challenge, did those neck muscles start to engage? Are you breathing? So this exercise working the innermost layer of abdominal muscles responsible for pelvic spine stabilization, or that's their main job. We'll pull the knees in. You could hug them in here, holding shins or backs of thighs. Maybe you rock a little side to side, or you circle the hips and knees and circle in the other direction. We're going to roll on to our sides and coming into a fetal position here. Support the head either with the arm or slide that blanket roll underneath or slide a block under there or a pillow, but trying not to strain through the neck here as we do this upper body twist. So lower body in that fetal position, top arm is going to stretch straight forward from the shoulder. This is a little different how I sometimes do it, so listen for the variation. Inhale, pull just the elbow back. So I bend the elbow, pull it back, and I'm turning my head in the direction of that arm movement. And then exhale, bring the arm forward, stretch it out. So we inhale, bend the elbow, pull it back, turn the head to follow this moving arm. Exhale, bring it forward. We'll do a few more. And my reason here for doing the bent elbow is I think, or I believe that it is going to get a little bit more movement in the mid and upper back and the shoulder blade versus the straight elbow sometimes forces the movement into the shoulder joint, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but not what we're working on today. Come onto your side again, and then roll on over to the other side. So hips and knees bent, make sure you support the head, top arm coming straight out from the shoulder. We inhale, pull the elbow back, turn your head in that direction, exhale, bring it forward. And moving here with your breath. So this is a motion that I work on a lot in my body and in my yoga practice. So I've got some good range of motion. You may be somewhat limited here. So don't be surprised if you can only go part way. You're not forcing it. Don't try to do a kind of chiropractic adjustment here if it's not going there on its own. All right, come back to the sideline position, and then we're going to make our way up to hands and knees. So now is when I'm going to use that blanket to pad my knees. Starting in the tabletop position where we have the knees under hips, wrists under shoulders. Remember your alternate hand or arm positions here would be loose fist or on your forearms on the floor or forearms on the blocks. So especially if you have some tightness in the wrist or pain there, those are reasons to change the hand position. We're doing some cat and cow movements, but we're leading or initiating the movement with the tailbone. So we're dropping the tailbone down first. You round through the lower back, then you round through the middle back, then the upper back, and you tuck the chin at the very end of the movement. And then to come out, lead with the tailbone again. So we tip the tailbone up, belly towards the floor, pull the chest forward, and then we lift the head at the last of the movement. So again, we exhale, drop the tailbone, round through the back. It's almost like you're moving one vertebra at a time. Head's the last thing to move. Inhale, tailbone tipping up, and you're unrolling the spine. Doing a few more here. If you're having trouble kind of sort of segmentally moving here. It's okay to do a more global movement of cat-cow, how we normally do. I just like how this really makes me slow down and appreciate every little movement between the vertebrae from the bottommost lumbar vertebra to the top one right below the skull. And we'll eventually bring this back into a neutral tabletop position here. We're bringing one leg back, cross it over to the opposite side. I'm going to tuck the toes under so the foot doesn't slide. And I'm peeking around the shoulder to see the foot opening through that side body. Bring the knee back down, switch sides, inhale, stretch the foot across to the other side, peek around the shoulder, exhale, bring the knee back down. Alternating sides here. Again, I'm peeking around the shoulder here. I work a lot on my neck mobility, my upper back mobility. But if that is painful to turn the head that far, just look towards the hand instead of peeking around the shoulder. Or there might be times where you hold more tension or you have a crick in your neck, you've slept wrong, and sometimes that movement just isn't there. Don't force it. One more. And we'll bring that knee back down here. All right, from here, we're starting to open up through the feet. So we're stretching one leg back. The toes are tucked under, this toe rocking movement. Inhale, shift forward, bend through the toe joints. Exhale, press the heel back, stretching through the calf, and forward and back a few times. Being cautious here to start to see how much movement you have and how much stretch feels good to you. When you're ready, we'll switch sides, other foot back, toes tucked, that toe rocking movement. Lower both knees down. So setting us up for downward facing dog. Remember, you have alternatives here. You could be in a puppy pose, which is kind of like a kneeling down dog, hips over knees, forehead on the ground, reaching forward, or you could even put your forehead on block. You could keep going with the cat and cow or the toe rocking movements. Down dog is hands a little forward of shoulders, fingers spread. Claw the pads of your fingers into your yoga mat and lift the hips. Spine is long, so even if you need to bend your knees a little bit or lift your heels to lengthen the spine, do that. See if you can let the head relax between the upper arms. If you feel that tension rising up in the muscles between the neck and the shoulders, try this little maneuver here. Bend the elbows a little bit and then roll the inner elbows, like the area where you get your blood drawn, forward. And then push the hips up and back and relax that head. Shake it out like you're saying no or nodding yes. Looking forward, we're stepping the left foot between the hands, and it might need some help to get into position. You could always lower the right knee, left hand helping it come forward. I'm going to use a block under my right hand. This is just to create a little bit more space, which is actually helpful as we come into this twist here in the lunge. Option to keep the back knee down, or maybe you lift it up. I'm going to bring this left hand to the knee, and then I'm doing an exaggerated shoulder roll here. So I'm dropping the shoulder down to the knee, towards it, shrug it towards the ear, and then roll it back and down. And as I go back and down, I'm looking towards the left. So drop the shoulder towards the knee, inhale, shrug it, exhale, roll it back and down. Two more here. These exaggerated shoulder blade movements that get that mid and upper back and that head turning. All right. And then we'll pause here. Lower that back knee if you lifted it. And we're rising up. So hands on that front knee, or you might need a hand on the wall to steady yourself. Now I'm going to use my yoga block for this next one. If you don't have it, you're going to interlace the fingers behind your head here. But I'm going to use the yoga block. This is actually a little bit of feedback about where my head is in space. So often, a lot of us tend to go in that forward head Shoulders kind of hunched position. And so we're going to work on the muscles that get us out of that. So I'm going to bring that block behind my head. So I have the largest surface area of the block at the back of my head here. And I'm going to gently press my head back. Now, I'm not looking up. My gaze is at eye level, so it's a very mild chin tuck. And then keep that head gently pressing back into the block. And then see if you can release the tension, the muscles that run between the shoulders and the neck. So if you kind of keep the hands there, but let that tension go, you might feel that release or the lengthening of the neck, reaching the top of the head up towards the ceiling. At the same time, the tailbone is reaching down towards the floor. And then we'll release this here. I'm going to bring both hands down to the floor, stepping this back into a plank pose. You could lower knees or keep them up, but lower all the way down to the ground. Point the feet. We're coming into a low cobra. Pull the shoulder blades back and down. Inhale, lift the head and chest. So this low cobra long through the neck. Exhale, lower down. Do that a couple more times. So shoulder blades towards the spine, the back waist. Inhale, lift head, chest. Exhale, lower. That shoulder blade roll. So this is that same rolling movement we did one-sided before. Lowering back down. And then we're going to lift ourselves back up to hands and knees. Tuck the toes, hips up and back. Find that downward facing dog. Maybe you pedal the feet a few more times or you shake the head out. Notice how you really hunched up through the shoulders. Do that little trick here. You're going to bend the elbows slightly out towards the sides. Roll the inner elbows towards the front. Push the hips up and back. Let the head relax. Shake it out like you're saying no or nodding yes. Looking forward, we're going to step our right foot between the hands, help it get there. Lower that back knee or keeping it up for this next one. I'm going to use the block under my left hand, but you could be flat hand, loose fist, fingertips here. Back knee down or up. Right hand on the knee. Here's that shoulder roll. We drop it towards the knee, shrug it towards the ear, roll it back and down, look towards the right. Shoulder drops. Inhale, shrug the shoulder. Exhale, roll it back and down as you twist. Two more. All right, release that twist, lower the back knee. Find your way into this upright lunge position. Take your time finding your balance, back toes tucked or untucked. We're going to bring the block or interlace fingers at the back of the head. Gently press the back of the head into the block. Slight chin tuck, top of the head reaching up. See if you can release. I'm going to turn so you can see me here from the back. Can you release the tension in the muscles that run between the neck and shoulder? So if I keep my grip on the block, but I let that go, I don't lose anything. In fact, I lose the tension, I guess I should say. So that letting go there, and those upper trapezius muscles, those are the ones that we're releasing there. And then we'll bring that block down to the floor, and we're stepping forward with the back foot. So come into a forward fold. Listen for options here. That little bit of bend in the knees, upper body draped over lower body for the ragdoll version of forward fold, or the one that's more protective of the lumbar spine, the lower back. If you have a herniated disc or osteoporosis, is this one, the feet wide, butt back, forearms on your thighs. The spine is long as opposed to rounded. But if you are in that ragdoll version, that upper body draped over, again, shaking that head out like you're saying no or nodding yes, can release some tension there. Another one that I sometimes like to do is interlace fingers at the base of my skull. And then let the arms just give me a little bit more traction, a little more pull through the neck and the upper back. We'll bend the knees a little bit. Look forward, strong legs. Inhale, rise up to stand. You could reach out and up. Exhale, hands to prayer. Let this go. Shake out your arms and roll the shoulders. I'm going to move my blanket out of the way here. So we did cat and cows from hands and knees. We're going to do some cat and cows from standing. So for this one, you might have your feet hip distance or maybe slightly wider if that's a more comfortable position for you. We're sitting back. So I'm going to bend at my knees, bring the hands to my thighs. So for now, I'm going to stay in this hip and knee bent position and just do that cat and cow motion of the spine. So we're exhaling, rounding the back, tuck the tailbone, tuck the chin. That's the cat. Inhale, tailbone back, chest forward. So again, we exhale, tuck the tailbone and chin, rounding the back. Inhale, tailbone back, chest forward. Do a couple more like this. And as that chest comes forward, think about those shoulders back and down, neck long. Now I'm going to change it up. This could feel really good too. You could stay like this. I'm going to do that sort of sequential segmental movement of the spine. So leading with the tailbone, I drop the tailbone down. I round through the lower back as I start to roll up the spine, straightening my knees. Head is the last thing to come up. The shoulders go back and down. So I'm going to sit back again. Bend the knees, the hips, tailbone goes back, chest forward. And I drop the tailbone, roll up the spine to the top of the standing position, shoulders back and down. Tailbone back, bend the knees, drop the tailbone, exhale, roll up the spine. One more. Coming up here to the top, roll those shoulders back and down. Coming up to the front of your mat, grab your block again. Again, you can pretend if you don't have one here. So we'll do something similar that we did in that knee down lunge, but here in a warrior one. So take a medium or big step back with that left foot. I'm having some Achilles issues, so I'm going to shorten my stance today, but you can have a longer stance, that front knee bent, the tailbone down towards the earth and the top of the head up towards the sky. So again, sometimes I don't even notice my forward head until I see myself in a picture. So often we don't know we're in this kind of hunched position. So I'm going to work on this. I'm going to bring the block behind my head, gently press the back of the head back, slight chin tuck. See if you can release those muscles between the shoulders and the neck. Breathe, just gently pressing the back of the head back. That little bit of movement here is actually making me engage my core a little bit. So it's not just pull the head back, shoulders back, and done. This is a full body. Posture is full body. All right, we're going to bring that block forward, straighten the front leg. It might feel good just to swing your arms out here a little bit. I'm going to stay in that warrior one position. Find that length in the spine, tailbone down, top of the head up, as if I were gently pressing the back of the head into the block. This time I'm going to bring the block behind and I'm switching hands and then bring that block out to the side. So I inhale, bring the block behind. Don't let the head come forward. Keep it back. Exhale, block out to the side. So from behind, it's inhale, switch behind, exhale, bring it out. If you notice your shoulders rounding forward here as you pass the block behind you, like that kind of thing, you might just be too tight. Your shoulders might be a little broad to be able to come into that position. So maybe you just pretend to pass the block. All right, we'll step it forward on the next one. Shake out your legs, roll the shoulders. And then we're going to do this on the other side. So right foot coming back into that warrior one, that front knee bent, tailbone down towards the earth, top of the head up. And then that little bit of extra feedback, block behind the head, gently press the back of the head, very mild chin tuck. Relax those upper traps, those muscles between the neck and shoulders. Take a few breaths here. Noticing what you're feeling, what's engaging. Do you feel the core? Maybe you feel a little bit here in the upper back, legs, maybe holding that warrior one. There's some deep front neck muscles that are sort of hard to perceive, but they're the ones that are getting us out of that forward head position. And we'll bring that block forward. You could straighten the front knee, maybe swing those arms out a little bit, take a little break. Coming back into that front knee bent, tailbone down, top of the head reaching up as if you're still pressing back into that block a little bit. We're passing the block behind. We inhale, bring the block behind us, switch hands, exhale, arms out. Inhale, switch, exhale, arms out. Keep the top of the head reaching up, especially as the arms come back behind you. If those chest muscles are tight, they pull the shoulders up and forward, and that pulls you into the forward head position. And then we'll stop that passing and step it forward, shake it out here, roll the shoulders. So we're gonna do one more here with that block, that feedback of the block. This one we're gonna do a little balance with it at the same time. So we're balancing, challenging the balance. You might choose to come off your mat, this more solid surface, or have a hand on the wall. We're gonna be back in that same position. So it might be hard to put the hand on the wall. You might have elbow on the wall here for this one. There's also an option to keep the toe down. So bring one foot forward, spread your toes out, placing them down, spread out. Shift your weight onto that foot. The other foot's back behind you and toes down here. Focus the gaze on a non-moving spot straight ahead. Visual feedback, super important for balance. That tailbone down, top of the head up. Try it with the block or interlace fingers behind the head. Gently press the back of the head back so gaze stays at eye level, that same spot. Can you release the muscles between neck and shoulders? You could stay here, it's already balance work, or maybe you lift the back leg up. No, you could always put it down. If you'd like a little more challenge, we inhale, bring that knee forward. Exhale, push the leg back, squeezing the glutes as you push the leg back. I'm gonna do 3 more. Keeping the back of the head gently pressing into the block. My gaze is at eye level. I'm reminding those muscles between neck and shoulders to relax. They sometimes have a mind of their own and tend to tense back up. All right, let this go. Shake it out, roll it out. We're gonna do this on the other side. So bring that foot forward, toes spread out. Shift your weight onto it. Toes behind you on the ground. Tailbone down, top of the head up. Block or interlace fingers behind you. Gently press the head back. Relax the muscles between neck and shoulders. Maybe you stay toes down or play with bringing the foot up. Or inhale, bring that knee forward. Exhale, push the leg back. So before we were really focusing on that head position where the block, relaxing those neck, shoulder muscles. Sometimes when we add a task, we start to tense up through the neck. So remind the muscles to let go again. All right, bring that foot down, shake it out, roll the shoulders. We're done with that dang block. Unless you want to use it to sit on the floor. So we're coming into a seated position on the floor. If you struggle with sitting tall from the floor, even with props, I would encourage you to do this next one sitting in a chair, sitting perched on the edge of a chair or the couch. I'm going to use a blanket here just to elevate my hips in a cross-leg position. You could be in a straddle or sitting back on your heels. So I talked before, there's some deep front neck muscles that help pull the head back. There's some superficial front neck muscles that actually pull the head forward. So we've been working on strengthening the ones that pull you back. Now let's give a gentle stretch for some of these ones that pull you forward. They're called the sternocleidomastoid muscles, which is a mouthful, so SCM for short. They start up here behind the ear on the base of the skull. They split into 2. One comes down to the collarbone, and the other one comes down here to the top of the breastbone. So what we're going to do is use our hand to anchor those 2 bottom ends here around the breastbone and collarbone. So put your hand on your chest just below the collarbone. This hand is going to press into the ribs and pull down. So for me, I already start to feel the stretch kind of over the collarbone here. Now I'm going to tip the chin up and turn the head away. This could be enough right here. Sometimes I add a little side bend of the head away from the hand to get more of that lateral portion of the SCM stretched. Relax the shoulders, breathe. This is it, so you don't have to see me. But you could play around with the head position. Sometimes more head turn, more tilt, more chin up or more down gives you the stretch you want. Make sure that when you're stretching muscles, you feel mild to moderate sensation of stretch as opposed to intense or painful. When you get to intense or painful stretch, it actually backfires and your muscles get tighter. And I think it's especially true at the neck. Like it's just hypersensitive there to overstretching. All right, we'll bring the hand down, chin to the chest, and then lift that head up. Take a couple of backward shoulder rolls. See if you notice a difference between the sides. I definitely do here. I like just a lot more openness here and even blood flow happening after the side that I stretched. Other hand coming to the opposite side of the chest, just below the collarbone. Presses in, pulls down. Tip the chin up, turn the head away. Maybe you play with a little head tilt away. Don't get aggressive, relax the shoulders, breathe. And this works the best skin to skin. So if you have like a crew neck shirt, get your hand underneath the collar. Relax the jaw, breathe. I do also find that tightness, tension in this muscle in my physical therapy clients often goes with TMJ jaw problems and vice versa. All right, chin down, hand down, lift the head. Take a couple of backward shoulder rolls from here, see how that feels. We're coming on to our bellies. So we did a lot with the block, pressing the back of the head into the block to work those deep front neck muscles to strengthen them. We're going to do that here, but without the block. So you might, if you haven't done this with me before, you might watch on the first one or two and then join in. We'll do several reps. But when you're face down, you can't look forward, or shouldn't look forward to see me. So maybe watching first. So I'm stacking my hands under the forehead. I'm going to do a gentle chin tuck, a very mild chin towards the front of my throat. Keep your gaze, eyes open, and on your exhale, lift the back of the head, but I'm going to keep my gaze in the same spot, so I'm not looking forward. And then inhale, lower it. So I'm really just sort of retracting my head as opposed to picking my head up, so to speak. So I'm going to tuck the chin, exhale, lift the back of the head towards the ceiling. Don't look forward. Inhale, lower. So I'm going to do a few more like this. Tuck chin, exhale, lift the head, inhale, lower. And I'm not trying to lift as high as possible. And I'm keeping my arms relaxed, so I'm not pushing upward with the arms. Next time, lift the head or retract it. Turn to look to one side, keep it retracted. Turn to look to the other side. Bring it back to center and lower. So do that again. We're going to tuck the chin, lift the back of the head, keep it kind of retracted. Turn to look to one and then the other. Bring it back to center and lower. Do a couple more here. That retraction of the head and the head turn. You might be somewhat limited in rotation, and it might be one-sided. Bring the head back to center and rest. All right, just relax the back here. We were mostly trying to use those front neck muscles, but all those muscles along the spine were probably working a little bit here too. Coming into a quad stretch from this position. So we bend one knee, reach back with the hand to find the foot or the ankle, or this is where you might need a strap. Lengthen that kneecap towards the foot of the mat. Take a few breaths right here. Make sure the head is resting so you're not, straining to look forward or even propped up here. If you can leave that head and chest down, it's actually going to isolate a little bit more here to the quads. We're going to release this, do the other side. Might be different. My right leg is definitely tighter. Kneecap lengthening towards the foot of the mat. Remember with stretch, mild to moderate sensation of stretch. So loosen up a little bit if you need to. And if you can keep the breath, that's also going to help keep muscles relaxed and not resist the stretch. Releasing that foot down here. Make my way onto my back. Coming into a bridge pose. Now, if you've already had a workout today, or maybe you're recovering from race this weekend, you might choose to do a more restorative bridge here. So that would be a block, foam roller, folded blanket underneath the hips and just resting. This can feel really lovely if your legs are fatigued, the back is fatigued, or you're having, kind of twingy back. So you might stay with that. The active bridge, we line the heels up with the sitting bones. Arms are down by the sides. Lift your hips and back up off the floor. Once you're up, you're tucking the shoulder blades in closer to the spine, pressing your arms into the floor, interlacing the fingers here. Now you might notice how the floor is pushing the head forward. The chin tucks towards the chest, not towards the throat, but towards the chest. So I'd like you to, like we did with that block behind the head, gently press the back of the head into the floor. You'll see how that creates a little bit of space between the chin and the chest. Start to take compression out of the vertebrae of the neck. One more inhale. And then exhale, bring the arms out from underneath you, coming down onto your back. Maybe a few windshield wiper movements here, rocking the knees side to side. I'm going to do that one more time. Those of you who come to my class often, or my other classes too, know how I like to do a 2-for-1. So bridge, honestly, bridge is like a buy one get 7 free, because there's so much going on there. But adding that little pressing the back of the head into the floor, we start to strengthen these muscles that are getting you out of forward head position. So if you'd like another, line the heels up with the sitting bones, arms down by the sides, lifting up. Maybe you interlace fingers here, but pressing the arms into the floor. Gently press the back of the head into the floor as you keep the hips lifted. Breathe. Arms come out, coming down into your back. Maybe a few of those windshield wipers, and then if it would feel good, knees to chest, gently rocking here, side to side. We'll lower both feet back down to the floor. Let's all come into that supported bridge. So block, foam roller, folded blanket, come underneath your hips, about where those dimples are. It's really the back of the pelvis. Make sure it's below the low back. Take a moment here and get all the muscles along the spine to relax, the buttocks to relax, right? We just worked all of those muscles in the active bridge. Now they get to let go and be supported here. And sometimes it's a kind of a shift of the mindset that takes a moment. I'm going to come into a hip flexor stretch here. So pulling one knee in, straighten the other leg out. Let that heel rest down on the floor. So the deep hip flexors, the psoas, they actually start right below the hip joint and then go through the abdomen deep and attach to the bottom 6 vertebrae of the spine. Often when those muscles are tight, it's reflected in those SCM muscles, the sternocleidomastoid muscles, the ones that can, when they're tight, they pull you into a forward head position. So often I see in my physical therapy clients tight hip flexors, tight SCMs. So a lot of time for neck, head pain, even jaw pain, we have to address the hip flexors. So here we're just lengthening them, switching sides. Taking a few breaths. Maybe you notice a difference side to side here. Lower both feet down to the floor. And then when you're ready, lift your hips, take the prop out from underneath, coming on down. We're going to cross one thigh over the other and pull the legs in towards you here. Looking for that stretch in that buttocks, outer hip of the top leg. Notice, did you start to lift your head and hunch through the shoulders? Can you let the head come down? Can you relax through the neck and shoulders but keep the grip? If you're really tight in the neck, sometimes you cannot get that head to come down. You might even need to put a folded blanket under the back of the head to allow those neck muscles to relax in the stretch. When you're ready, untangle the legs, switching sides. Remind the neck and shoulders to relax. Slow your breathing down here. Untangling the legs here. You might try this twist without that blanket if you put it underneath you. So I'm going to have my knees bent, feet flat. I'm placing the block to the right of my knees. I have it on that medium side, arms out. Drop the legs to the right. So that right outer knee can rest on the block. This could be as far as you want to go, or take that left thigh and cross it over the right. Gaze up or head turned away. That head turning away from the legs can help that back of that left shoulder release down on the ground if you're having trouble with that. Untangle the legs, pull the knees up through center. Might feel good to hug the knees in here, gentle rocking, circling. And then bring the feet back down. Block is on the left side. Drop the legs to the left. Maybe that's enough. Or right thigh crossing over, head turned away. Untangling the legs. Pull the knees up through center. Knees to chest here. Maybe you turn this into like a happy baby, knees out wide, backs of thighs or ankles, or Soles of feet or those big toes, gentle rocking. And then thinking about how you'd like to set yourself up for Shavasana. If there's something you'd like to do here before we um, kind of turn in for Shavasana, feel free. Maybe it's a different hip stretch. Maybe it's a different twist or rotation. Maybe there's a neck stretch that would feel good to you to add in, or an inversion. Feel free. And you might choose to do that roll into the back of the neck, that place we started in. Or the arms overhead position, which I'm here now. You could even put some props underneath the elbows to make it feel a little more relaxing. But you could also be in legs up the wall, legs on a chair. You could just be flat without any props or positioning. I'm coming into that neck roll again. And you could do the neck roll as we started and have legs up on the chair, legs up the wall, or butterfly position with the legs. Wherever you've chosen to be, maybe eyes closed or open is fine as well. Take an inhale through the nose. Open the mouth, sigh out the breath. You could do it again. Let the breath go. We're allowing the body to rest here for the next few minutes. Start to deepen your breath. Nice and gentle movements. Wiggling the fingers, toes, maybe a small little head turn. Circling the wrists, the ankles. Maybe like a full body stretch. Arms overhead, legs out. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, let it go. Roll to your side, pause in a fetal position. Perhaps take this opportunity to appreciate your body, your breath, your health, your yoga practice. Being gentle, press up to a seated position. Thank you all for being here, sharing your practice and energy this evening. The light in me honors the light in each of you. Namaste. Thank you.
Thank you.